Let's go, gang. Day 3 in the books. I'm back. I'm here. Let's get into this. We got the beard oil on. We're all good. We're ready to go. Oh my goodness. So we were out yesterday. We weren't here yesterday. It was my son's birthday. Took my son to the zoo. I got a nice little glow going just to make the red beard pop more. We got the red face going too. So that's what we're going through. So yesterday, apologies, we were out for some family matters, taking care of the son's birthdays too, the little kids too. But now we were able to pay a little bit more close attention today, and it was an interesting day right off the jump. Interesting day right off the jump. Oh, you see the redness from being out walking around. Walking around the zoo for 5 hours. I'll never learn. I never put sunscreen on. It never happens. I'll never learn. I appreciate all you guys saying happy birthday to my son. I really appreciate that. That's pretty awesome. Fun fact about him, I was actually at camp when my wife's water broke with him. It was actually the first day of camp last year. So he's born and bred into this lifestyle. He will absolutely be a Niner fan. He will carry on the legacy for us. Well, let's get into today. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff that came out today. Got some people hot and bothered. Got some people real hot and bothered. Some people showed their real true colors today on at least on my Instagram page. Even got subtweeted by a beat reporter. Oh, it went off. So today was a good day. We got people riled up. We get people riled up. We get people talking. We get people commenting. We get people clicking. Hashtag click gang. If you're in here, hashtag click gang. Let's go. We see you. We see the click gang in here. That means you're liking, subbing, doing it all. Sharing. Hashtag click gang. We see you. We see you. So let's start off with it. Let's start off with it. So first of all, we got into training camp with shout it out. We see y'all. Hashtag click gang. We see the click gang. Oh, we got you guys on YouTube, Instagram. We see the click gang. We hyped out here. We got the click gang popping. They don't even know about the click gang. So click gang out here ready. So basically, we got started today with today's practice with big Aaron Banks doing the rookie hype machine. Ooh, he did a great job, by the way. I got to shout out my big boys. He did the little snap your fingers, do you stare. So we appreciate that. And even in his little dancing, I'm looking at how he's moving. I'm like, oh, he's got some moves. He can move. Again, that's one of the biggest things about Aaron Banks, being 6'6", 320, being a big guy, playing in a zone run scheme where you got to move laterally. You got to be able to have quick feet, move good. And they call them dancing bears for a reason. They call them dancing bears for a reason, and we saw it. We saw Aaron Banks doing his best little dance. But it's funny. Even in just doing little dance, you get an idea of how people move. So I'm excited to get to see him actually on the field and do some work and not just snap his fingers. But it was a good show. Well done, Aaron Banks. We appreciate it. We absolutely appreciate it. Then going into camp, we keep going. My guy Jordan, I think Jason Aponte was out there as well. A couple guys out there taking in camp. So they had put out a couple good notes and things like that. So I guess Talanoa Hufanga, rookie, right? He is, I guess, been one of the first or the first out to practice the last 2 or 3 days in a row. It's always good when you see the rookies get out there, get a head start, get out on the practice field, get things going. Shout out Jordan for letting me know that Dakota Shepley, my guy, friend of the page, center for the 49ers, he was the first out for the offense. We love it. Pat's Perfect, we love you too, boy. We love you too, Pat's Perfect. Keep killing that account over there. Take care of Mac Jones for us. But so by all accounts, got some good insight there, kind of who's coming out to practice first, who's trickling out to practice. So that was cool to see. But we didn't really get too far into it. We really didn't get too far into it before we started to lose our minds a little bit. So I saw multiple reports come out. I saw it come out from, and when I see multiple, so when just to give you some insight, because there was a lot of people came for my neck for reporting news. So let's get into it. So when multiple people post something at one time, so I'm talking about my feed is like 3 or 4 of the same posts, and I don't see one in particularly first, it's really hard to credit because it's like, well, who do I credit? I saw the last person's first, but they weren't the last. You know what I mean? So when I see a ton of reports saying the same thing, I typically will just do per multiple reports. So right away, I think it was Cam Inman, it was Jennifer Lee Chan, it was some of my guys who were already on the sideline talking about Nick Bosa's not out there. So that's news, ladies and gentlemen. So whether you know the reasoning why he's out there or not, the fact that he isn't practicing, that is newsworthy. So I know a lot of people had a really, really hard time wrapping their head around that concept today. But so what happened is when the beat reporters, because I'm not on site, I have to take the information and share it secondhand, unfortunately. So not being on site, I take the information and I repost it. Well, guess what? Guess what I said? Nick Bosa doesn't appear to be practicing today per multiple reports. That's it. That's it. And people lost their mind, came for my necks. They were saying I posted, what was it called? What did they call it? There was a name for it. They developed a name for the kind of post that I created for letting you know that a player that we have on this team was not at practice. Oh, a panic post. Panic post. So apparently, if I report to you guys that, hey, guess what? George Kittle, he's not practicing today. Apparently, that's a panic post. That's a panic post. So I hit 2 panic posts back to back because we found out first that, like I said, from Cam Inman, Jennifer Lee Chan, multiple guys that I have on site, that Nick Bosa's not practicing. He's not even out there. That's what I heard. Again, I can only share the source from multiple places, and again, put it into per multiple reports. And what we got to see today is, again, with our followers on Instagram, is you get an insight into our fan base, the PTSD surrounding injury, how these fans deal with injury, and what it does to them mentally. And you saw it perfectly today. It was on hand today. A lot of people pulled out their true colors, and it was a lot of fun to see. So, hey, it is what it is. But it clearly riled up people enough to come after my neck for simply sharing information. But again, the bigger issue at hand and what it really details to us is how many people are seriously affected mentally by the 49ers injuries over the last decade. The last decade. All right. So, and I understand that's the whole point, but it's funny to see them come at my neck for sharing information. So it's pretty funny to see. So we'll keep doing us. Like, we're not going to change. Like, the fact that people are getting all upset, hot and bothered about it, we really don't care. We really don't care, because at the end of the day, what you're showing us is the issues that you have with yourself. So we'll keep doing us. Enjoy. If you don't like the panic post, there's a button. It says unfollow. Click it. And I helped some people get unfollowed today as well. So we're back on track. Let's move forward. On to the next. So again, hashtag Click Gang. If you are here, if you are present, that means you're Click Gang. Let's go. Hashtag Click Gang. Let them talk. Let them chirp. Bring it. We love it. So hashtag Click Gangs are the real ones, and we'll keep it moving. So as we continue to move forward and get into the actual practice, because like I said, that caused quite the stir and commotion amongst you guys. So it's addressed. Now we move on. And guess what we have left from it? Click Gang will never die. Hashtag Click Gang. Thank you guys for always putting us on to content. Again, y'all tried to roast me. We just turned it into content. So thank you. Hashtag Click Gang. We here to the death of us. So thank you. And so based on all reports, again, these are all reports. I take all reports with a grain of salt because, again, I trust my evaluation. I trust my eyes. So we just keep it rocking. We just keep it rolling. And we'll report what people are seeing because it's important. So what some of the reports that we're getting was that the defense had a great day today. Defense had a great day today. Apparently, they were making a lot of plays, which was not the case to start camp. As we discussed, the 49ers offense seemed to be moving pretty well and firing on all cylinders, which I had made the comment of. That's typically not how it works. Typically, what happens is the offense struggles first. And then as it progresses and the offense begins to gel, they start taking those leaps forward, especially when you don't have pads, especially when you're just wearing helmets. So it was actually a really interesting and good sign to see that the offense was doing well early. But it seems like it's starting to shift back. It seems like it's really starting to shift back to the defense now. And again, I think this will all change once pads gets on. Pads are the great equalizer. So once we get the pads on, we'll really be able to assess this stuff. But right now, we'll take it for what it is. So per Jennifer Lee Chan, it sounds like Samson Ebukam and Arden Key had good days getting multiple pressures and sacks. She goes on to discuss that there were a lot of pressures and sacks from the LBs as well in blitz packages. So one of the things that we've talked about a lot is what we're excited for DeMeco Ryans. What we're looking for DeMeco Ryans in the change from Robert Saleh as defensive coordinator and how it shifts to DeMeco Ryans. And one of the things that we all talked about and tried to indicate really early in the beginning was we think that DeMeco Ryans is going to be more aggressive. We think DeMeco Ryans is going to be able to try and bring more pressure, whether that's bringing more than 4 guys, whether that's basically disguising which 4 you bring or 5 or whatever, however you want to overload it. We just felt that with under Saleh, it was a bit vanilla. It was a bit plain, but we could do that when you had, again, D Ford, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, and Nick Bosa as your starting defensive line. You can do a lot of things with those 4 guys. So the fact that, that unit is being retooled, it's good to hear that we're seeing them get home on blitz packages and being successful in those scenarios. Because like I said, I think it would be beneficial to this team to be a little bit more aggressive and bring different packages to play that game within the game. You got to get those offensive linemen thinking. You got to get them confused. You got to get them twisted up. And that's coming from a former offensive lineman. My job becomes so much more difficult when I don't know what they're doing to me. When I know what you're doing to me, then we just got to worry about one-on-one talent. We just got to worry about one-on-one talent at that point. But if you're scheming it up and you're making me think which means I'm reacting slower. That gives them much better opportunity to be successful with this defense. So I think the combination of the talent we have at linebackers with the defensive line, it's music to my ears. So I love hearing that there was multiple sacks, pressures from the LB units with blitz packages. So one of the more interesting storylines is kind of flown under the radar, but Marcel Harris, who has played safety for the 49ers, I believe he was a 6th or 7th round pick. I can't remember exactly, but he was a later round pick. But he's always shown flashes. We've never seen him consistently enough to really truly understand who he is. If you remember, he had the massive forced fumble against OBJ in the Browns game in 2019. He had the massive forced fumble on Lamar Jackson during that 2019 season as well that could have flipped the game. Obviously, the 49ers didn't come out with the victory with that one, but it was a huge play nonetheless on the former MVP. So Marcel Harris has shown flashes. He has shown that he's got ability. And so what I really like, again, what they're doing is now he's playing linebacker. They've moved him, it sounds like, solely into the box. And I think that is fantastic. I think that's really fantastic because I'm a big fan of having athletic linebackers because remember, the mold of the new NFL linebacker is Fred Warner. And the reason why Fred Warner was so special is because he could play safety. He could play nickel corner. He could play edge, and he could play off-ball linebacker. He could do all of those things. So when you take a guy with the skill set of Marcel Harris, you bring him in the box, and you all of a sudden take those traits and you take it from the safety position, which was maybe, kind of middle of the line, but then you change him to linebacker and the position that he plays, and then you look at the traits that players play in that position, and it kind of changes what he is. So this could be a very good thing for Marcel Harris. I really think there's an opportunity for him to really thrive as a linebacker. So I'm really excited to see what he does. I really am. And according to Jennifer Lee Chan, Marcel Harris had a big day with a sack on Sudfeld and a pass breakup on Trey Lance, trying to find River Craycraft. So it already sounds like he's fitting in. It already sounds like that transition is making a lot of sense. And again, the division between safety and linebacker, like it's going to squeeze closer and closer and closer together. Pretty soon, linebackers will essentially be safeties, in my opinion. So the fact that we're seeing this just goes to show that this defensive staff as a whole agrees kind of with that philosophy. My guy Jordan Elliott, who has been working for Niners Nation, reported that Diamador Lenore had a pass breakup on a deep ball from Rosen to Kevin White. By all accounts, Diamador Lenore has been playing really well and has been impressing. So those are things that you absolutely love to see. Going back to some of the clips of yesterday, we saw pass breakups from Barrett, K'Wan Williams, Tim Harris. So it just seems like the defensive unit is coming on as of late. They're starting to pick it up. So that's good. We want to see that because if you guys remember, it's that 2019 season. Why that 2019 was so special was because of what we could do with that defense. So a good defense helps our offense and everyone else in between. So that's what we want. Some more notes on
the wide receiver side, from Matt Barrows, it sounds like Trey Lance had another deep bomb connection to Deebo Samuel. For what it's worth, that he called it a wobbly pass, so he felt the need to write that out. So, but Trey Lance still hit a bomb to Deebo. What we're seeing is we are still, we're seeing Deebo, or I'm sorry, we're seeing Trey Lance work with first stringers. So I know Kyle Shanahan made a really big. I guess he didn't make a big situation of it. He was just asked, basically, saying, "We don't have a quarterback competition, and we won't have a quarterback competition until we start splitting reps. When we start splitting reps with the first team is when we will start having that conversation." Okay, that was straight from Kyle Shanahan. And we're seeing Trey Lance compete deep passes down the field to Kittle, Ayuk, Deebo, and by all accounts, those are starters. So I don't know if those guys are playing with the second unit or what, but by all accounts, I'm taking away anything from this. Even though Trey Lance might not be working with the ones, he's working with ones. Like there's no gray area. He's working with the ones. It just might not be the official ones. First team out in 7-on-7, first team out in 11-on-11s, but he's still finding a way to work with starters. So that's interesting. Let's see. So Jordan, I love this insight from Jordan. Again, if you guys remember, Jordan and we had a pod almost every day heading into the draft, just breaking down draft prospects, breaking down all of these guys from intangibles, measurable, physical, all of that stuff. So when he starts to talk about traits and things that he's seeing, I absolutely listen. So what Jordan was talking about was what he was seeing consistently is that Trey Lance is, when he misses high. And that was something that we saw on tape from North Dakota State. So we're kind of seeing that follow him. And typically that's how it works. You show your quirks on tape and then you spend the time to fix them, iron them out, and work on it. So one of the things that he says he's still seeing that we saw on tape from North Dakota State is he still tends to miss a bit high, and the timing is off a bit. The thing with the timing is that, again, I don't know exactly what he is speaking to when he's saying timing, but he did go on to say that, he's a rookie. It's of course, there's going to be timing issues. You're learning these receivers. You're learning what the route and play call asks for, what the timing is, what the steps are. It takes time. You just got to get comfortable with it. He's still learning it. So that is expected. I'm not too worried about that. But he did also go on to say that he is just blown away by the arm talent that Trey Lance has. And I think basically by all accounts, and even what we're seeing in practice clips, that ball is coming out of Trey Lance's hands just it just looks different. It looks different. We've had plenty of time to watch Nick Mullins, Jimmy, CJ Beathard over the last couple of years, even throw out Brian Hoyer. We've had plenty of kind of these quarterbacks that aren't known for having big arms, but what they're really good at supposedly is, throwing with anticipation, being accurate, being able to make the reads and hit it with timing. So when you're doing those things, you don't necessarily need to have this insane arm. But with Trey Lance, and like even from the clips, the ball, you'll see a little hump, little moon action to those throws when it comes off the hands, because you throw it up with a little bit of upward trajectory so that it falls down into the situation and does all that. But with Trey Lance, you heard the expression throwing on a rope. They say that because the rope is straight, and when you throw it on a rope, it goes on a straight line. And so you're starting to see, like, he just has this ability to push the ball. He really has this ability to just cut through the air. And it's really cool to see because, again, we've had situations where we've had guys that don't have that natural throwing ability. I mean, they're good throwers of the football. Don't get me wrong. That's not at all what I'm saying. I think Jimmy's a good thrower of the football. Nick Mullins made a bunch of passes where I was like, "Whoa, Nick!" I think Nick had one against a couple against the New York Giants, against the Saints game. So that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying these guys can't throw, and I don't want that to be misinterpreted. All I am saying is that you can see the difference. You can see the difference. Again, I was at the Senior Bowl. I'm watching Kellen Mond. I'm watching Mac Jones. I'm watching all these guys, and I'm just like, I'm not seeing the ball just jump out of their hands. I'm not seeing it. It's not that special attribute that you see sometimes out of guys. And again, I'm not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes has probably one of the more special arms that we've seen in quite some time. But you see the ability. You see the ability when they decide to let the thing rip and let it go. It just comes out. There's no hesitation. The ball doesn't think about, like, it's just crazy. So Jordan spoke to it. We've seen it in clips. Even if it's like a 15-yard out or whatever, you just see the zip on the ball, and you just see it. It's on a line. It doesn't lose any elevation. It's pretty special to see. So I'm excited to see that in person. I'm excited to see what it looks like with my own eyes. So that's going to be cool. Shanahan talked about today about how Trey handles misses, which was cool too. Again, keep going back to what Kyle Shanahan looks for in a quarterback. I will reference that podcast till the end of time. I will reference his podcast with Sean McVay and Peter Schrager till the end of time, because what he talked about in that podcast was the main thing that Kyle Shanahan literally spent probably 5-10 minutes just going down this deep hole on what he is looking for in his quarterbacks. It was all intangible. It was all mental. It was all how you handle situation. So with what Kyle Shanahan said today was, he talked about Trey and his misses and basically said, well, when he misses, he's just as hard as himself as I am, as hard as, on him. And so I don't need to get on Trey too much. I don't need to get on Trey, because he knows if he has a bad pass, he knows it was a bad pass. Like, he knows that he needs to correct it and knows what he needs to do. So Kyle Shanahan's basically like, yeah, it's really cool to see, because even when he has a miss or even when he has a bad pass, he keeps going back after it. There's no hesitation. There's no, second guessing. And again, that's what Kyle talked about, what he's looking for in a quarterback. He's looking for guys that take everything in stride. Again, low heart rate, calm, low blood pressure. Again, he said it a million times. No hesitation. And so he's talking about all those things that he said he wanted in a quarterback. And he's continuing to point it out that Trey has that. So I think it's a really exciting situation. Because I think whether it's this year, next year, or I don't care what the timeline is. I really don't. Trey Lance is Kyle Shanahan's guy, because, again, I think Trey Lance is going to be that guy who, let's say he throws a pick. Let's say he throws an interception, throws a ill-advised pass or whatever. Again, what Kyle Shanahan talked about was that stuff's going to happen, but you have to have the ability to not be too high or not be too low and come back out and do it without hesitation. And so what I'm taking away is that's essentially what Kyle is saying right here. That's essentially what he's saying. I'm looking at your guys' stuff real quick, but you guys see me. I'm on a rant right now. We'll be interacting. We'll be interacting once I get done with my offensive rant. Don't worry. I'll be back. I'll be back to read your stuff. So again, just more information from Kyle Shanahan about what he likes about Trey. And again, he talked about it a month ago. He's talking about it now. And he's just, Trey Lance is, like I said, and I might have to clip it and put it out there because, like I said, it's an interesting take. It's an interesting take where I think Trey Lance is going to unlock Kyle Shanahan, not the other way around. I think Trey Lance, with his personality, his demeanor, his mental capacity, how he handles himself, the intangible side of it, I think it's going to unlock Kyle Shanahan. Because, again, this is a part of it. Shanahan talked about, he's like, I'm not too worried about it because he knows. He knows. So I don't got to harp on him. He knows what he needs to do. He knows how to correct it. He knows that he's not going to get too high. He's not going to get too low. Kyle knows he doesn't have to go over there and babysit a 21-year-old. Is essentially what he's saying. So I think Trey Lance and this mentality and ability will eventually unlock Kyle to be the best version and the best play caller that we've seen out of Kyle. Because I think the calmness and level-headedness and low blood pressure, all the things that Kyle talks about, I think Kyle will feed off of that. I think Kyle will absorb that energy, therefore making him less anxious in those moments, less anxiety-ridden, because he knows he's got a quarterback that no matter what is going to be level. Same things he talked about in an interview with Matt Ryan. So, again, just connect everything. It just seems like everything is lining up for Kyle Shanahan. Another thing that Jordan had put out was that it appears by all accounts that Mohamed Sanu looks to be the front runner for the wide receiver 3 position. He's basically saying he looks like a pro out there. He's doing everything over the middle of the field. He's really showing out. So it really appears that this Mohamed Sanu hype is warranted. We're headed in the right direction. And it's funny because actually Mohamed Sanu went on today. He spoke in front of the media and he actually confirmed what I had observed of his situation in 2020. And what I had observed was, listen, this guy had been on a team for however many years. It was the first offseason he found himself not on a team, not in a locker room. And of course, we know what happened. 2020 hit. That changes everything. So not only is he dealing with the 2020 situation, but he's dealing with not being on a team for the first time in the offseason. So that translated him. He admitted it, just not being in the best shape, not being where he needed to be. I think Ayuk even mentioned it. He just, it was a hard situation for him to come in. And he said that when he got released and then went to Detroit and was able to get back in shape and be able to kind of get back on that path, it really helped him get back in game shape and, again, start preparing for football again. So that's how I really like that transition, because they had a good conversation. They brought him back this year, obviously, and he's came back ready. And Shanahan notices, Mike McDaniels notices, Ayuk notices, Debo notices. The quarterbacks are noticing. Everyone is talking. Jacob, thank you for joining for the clicks. Hashtag click gang. That's how you do it. You join just for the clicks. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. So with Sanu, he basically was like, yeah, it wasn't in the best shape. Ayuk talked about what it was like when they released him, and how upset they were because he was such a great veteran presence to their room, was such a great voice to these young receivers. Again, Ayuk is a first-year guy. Debo was a second-year guy at the time. We understand what Emmanuel Sanders did for that locker room, or that room in particular, when he was added onto the roster, seeing guys like Debo, Bourne really take the next step. Well, I think you're seeing that same situation with Ayuk. I think Ayuk really, really enjoys having Mohamed Sanu in the building to be able to bounce anything off of. It just sounds like Mohamed Sanu is a great presence for this team. So we've been talking a lot about the wide receiver 3 situation and all that good stuff, and it really feels like that Sanu is headed for that spot. Again, I look at wide receiver 3 as a revolving door based on packages, based on defensive alignment, based on what Kyle Shanahan is trying to do and attack based on personnel groupings. So again, I don't have a clear-cut wide receiver 3. But if we had to do it that way, it sounds like Mohamed Sanu is stepping up to the plate and taking advantage of this opportunity that he has in front of him. So that's great. He talked about how Kyle Shanahan tried to trade for him. Kyle tried to trade for Sanu in 2019. I guess they offered like a third and a fourth for him. But of course, they opted to go with a second from the Patriots. So interesting how that works out. Sanu could have been on this roster instead of Emmanuel Sanders. So that's an interesting little piece of insight. But yeah, to wrap up Sanu's situation, it just really sounds like the team is responding to him. Sounds like his wide receiver room is responding to him. So that's great. It's great. We like that. We really do. And of course, we've seen the relationship that it seems that he's developed with Trey as well. So those human elements of football, those things like having a veteran in a room of young guys, it really makes a difference. It really makes a difference. So I'm super excited that Sanu can do that for those guys. One kind of funny thing was Shanahan took a little jab at his son, saying that I can't remember the context of exactly what he was saying, but he essentially, like, he wasn't doing the best job catching some punts or something. And Shanahan basically said that his son has his mom's genes. Shots fired, Shanny. Shots fired. Shanny might be sleeping on the couch tonight. Oh man, Shanny went. He didn't hold back on that one, but I feel it. As a father, I totally understand what he's saying and why he's saying it. I get it. I absolutely get it, especially from a competitive father as well. So yeah, it was. Let's see what other stuff was there. Interesting take on the current quarterback room. If you want to go watch it, I'd say it's worth a watch. Just to see the tone in which Kyle said it. I thought the tone mixed with the words was interesting. So what he said was talking about the quarterback room, was talking about the talent they have in the quarterback room. He said, "You never let go quarterbacks who can help you. You don't want to let good quarterbacks go because you have too many." And it was an interesting comment just because, of course, the entire offseason we just went through, by all accounts, it sounded like there was absolutely a time when 49ers were trying to trade Jimmy. There's also been a narrative floating around that, part of the reason why Jimmy's still here is they can't find a trade partner, blah, blah, blah. I just found the way he said it, it hit different. It hit different. It hit a little different. Like there's you can kind of feel some undertone to it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what it was or what he was trying to say, but it was interesting, which is how I put it. Brandon Ayuk really wants to, really, from all accounts, he's taking a new approach, and it's also become personal for him in regards to returning punts. So I know a lot of 49er fans have talked about, well, what about, putting Ayuk as the punt returner because of his ability and his athletic abilities through the roof. And he didn't really play there that much last year as a rookie. Obviously, we know he was in and out of games throughout the season, but he sounds very motivated. He sounds very motivated to be the primary punt returner, which was interesting. Especially a guy who I think is really going to take that next step as a wide receiver. That's also interesting to see that he's taken quite a stance on winning the punt return job. So that will be something that will be interesting to monitor. Let's see. Veteran, Mohamed Sanu put a lot of praise on Ayuk too, basically saying he said Brandon can do any and everything out there on the field. He really feels like Brandon Ayuk is going to just take that next level. Again, if you've been following me for some time, I am been leading that bandwagon all year long. This dude's going to be a wide receiver one. Fantasy football, whatever you do or whatever you just want to watch, Brandon Ayuk will be a top 12 wide receiver next year from a production standpoint. Let's see. What are the couple other things we talked about? I thought it was cool. We got to hear from Samson Ebukam. I've talked with Samson quite a bit through DM and stuff like that, but I've never seen him speak. I never actually seen him speak. Didn't know what he sounded like. Didn't know what his vibe was like. But getting to see Samson talk, he's dope. I like him a lot. Like, again, all the guys that I've had on this page to interview, what they always talk about are the quality of players, and not like quality about what they do on the field, the quality of the person. They talk about the quality of the person over and over and over again, and they talk about how that is a fundamental thing that starts from the top down. Is they invest in people, they invest in personalities, they invest in guys, because they understand that when you do that, you are able to then pull the best of their ability out of them, and it just creates a great situation. So seeing Samson talk for the first time, I was just like, wow, this dude's chill. The vibe is chill. He seems super, just like a humble guy. Like, he's about his business. He's about his work ethic. He's well spoken. Just really, I just like the person. Just came away really liking the person. And one of the things that he said is, Chris Korsek, the defensive line coach for the 49ers, I guess hand selected Samson. He really wanted him. He fought hard for him to get here. And a lot of what Samson was talking about was just like, I want to work harder for him and prove him right. I want to prove that he made a good decision by bringing me in here. And I'm going to show him that, you stuck your chest out for me, and I'm going to stick my chest out for you and show you that, like, thank you for believing me, and I'm going to put in the work for you. So by all accounts, man, and not only that, Samson has been playing well. One of the things that he talked about, he was saying that he has improved his technique. So I didn't know this about him. From all accounts, based on what he said, he's like, it sounds like he relied on his natural ability quite a bit. And his natural ability is first step, get off, strength, and relentlessness or motor. So those are three things that you have to have as a defensive lineman. So it sounds like he had been pretty successful up until this point with those things. But what he's saying, he spent a lot of time improving his technique. And he basically was like, well, kind of like in doing so, the game is slowing down. He's like, the game's slowing down for me. My technique is working better. I'm starting to be more intentional with my moves and what I'm doing. And the game's slowing down. And for a guy who has a high motor that doesn't stop moving, that is always attacking, for the game to slow down, that's dangerous. Just speaking from an opponent standpoint, because if you got a guy who can move like that, is strong like that, and do all those things, and he can work moves on you, and he's seeing it in like slow mo. RIP right tackles, left tackles, man. Like Samson, he's already got the leverage game one. He's got the strength, he's got the speed, and now if you're adding the technique, I'm a big technique guy. I'm really big on technique because I believe that even if you are a technician, that can elevate you over someone who has more raw talent than you. We're talking about Ebukam. So the fact when you get things that are special is when you take the raw talent and you take the technical side of the game and you marry them. That's when you get special players. That's when you get the Aaron Donalds. That's when you get the Trent Williams. That's when you get these guys that are freak of natures, but they're technicians and they work on their craft every single day. So gotta love to hear that. Gotta love to see all that stuff come down. So really liked hearing from Samson today. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. All right. So this is the point now, if you have listened, where I'll start looking at your comments. I will start looking at questions, and we'll start bringing some of you guys into it, and we'll get going. We'll get after this. Oh, Smelly Robin here? Oh, gosh. Don't listen to Smelly. Don't let him get you. Don't let Smelly get you. Don't fall for it. What are we talking about in the chat on YouTube? Oh, they're talking about Carson Wentz situation. So if you guys haven't heard, Carson Wentz might be dealing with a pretty serious foot injury. That hurts my soul. I know a lot of you guys don't like Carson Wentz. I felt like Carson Wentz was headed for a huge, huge year with the Colts. But this changes things. Apparently, this sounds like they're right now mulling over if surgery is required, all that kind of stuff. They're trying to figure out if surgery is required. But by any case, it does sound like that there is going to be a situation where he will miss the beginning of the year. Carson Wentz will miss the beginning of the year. In regards to their backup situation, Eason, from my understanding, I think he's a second or third year player out of Washington. Haven't seen him sniff a field personally. But, so that could put them into scramble mode. I had talked about it earlier because, again, we talk about the Shanahan quote and about what he said. Sean T. Uber, nice to see you, first timer. One of the things that Kyle was saying was, like, it's really hard when you have a bunch of good quarterbacks. Like, you don't just let them go. Okay, well, a team, and one of the things that I talked about was, like, I kind of feel like the 49ers are just waiting on injury. They're just kind of waiting to see what happens across the league because they got 4 pretty solid quarterbacks right now at the moment. whether they trade Sudfeld, who got a decent amount of money, or, heaven forbid, they move Jimmy. Do I see the Colts being a fit for Jimmy? Not necessarily. Because, again, all the things I think you have to think about, I don't know. Jimmy still has a trade, no trade clause. So Jacoby Brissett is on the Dolphins. He is no longer with the Colts, and I know the Colts are really upset for having Brissett as a backup for that long, and now here's an opportunity where it looks like Wentz is going to miss some significant time, and they don't have a great quality backup. That is proven, at least. So then again, that comes back to like, okay, well, what are the Colts going to do? How desperate are the Colts? Because the Colts have, in my opinion, a Super Bowl caliber roster. Now, whether that means they win the Super Bowl, that's not what that means. It means they have constructed a roster, a defense, offense. You look at each level, offensive line, D-line, running backs, linebackers, safety. Like, they've done a great job of building that roster. I respect the Colts. I respect how they have built. I respect how Reich has built that culture. I got respect for the Colts. So what they need to decide, though, is how desperate they are. And I don't know if they would be desperate enough to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo because, again, you're not just trading for Jimmy Garoppolo, you're trading for his contract. And so that comes along a big cap hit. And again, if Carson Wentz is coming back this year and he's not out for the entire year, then the conversation begins to change to probably more of a bridge style guy. And the reason why it's really hard to talk about Jimmy as a bridge guy, because we know that when he's healthy, Jimmy plays really well when he's healthy. We know this. We know this. It's just when he's not healthy or when he's kind of in those up and down moments, it's like, is a team going to shell out compensation to take on that cap situation? I don't know what the Colts cap situation is like. This could even be a non-starter. This could even be a conversation that we don't even have to go down because we look at the cap situation and we go, oh, their cap situation is not good. So that could be a potential possibility. So basically, to wrap that up, what we're talking about is the Colts trading Jimmy Garoppolo because of the Carson Wentz issue. Of course, I really think this is going to be the conversation anytime we see a quarterback injury happen across the league. So as fans, I think it's something that you guys start preparing for. I think it's something that you guys start wrapping your heads around, especially if you're pro Jimmy, because we know there are sides. We know there is. So if you are pro Jimmy, just beware that any time this offseason or early into the year or all year that a quarterback gets injured, this fan base, reporters, hell, even myself, we might start talking about Jimmy Garoppolo being a target for a quarterback needy team. Because again, the 49ers have their quarterback of the future. So that gives them the flexibility. It really gives them the flexibility to be smart with how they manage the situation. So just beware. Anytime a quarterback goes down, this is what we're going to talk about. Big Steve, this is a panic post. This is a panic post. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click like, hashtag click gang. We get clicks through the roof. Hey, I know that boy who tweeted that big mad about how many clicks I get on my website. I know he sees everything that comes out of my account. I know that dude is big mad about how many clicks I get onto my website. That's why I love it. That's why I love it. Take as many shots as you want, dude. Take as many shots as you want, because guess what? You get paid off clicks. You get paid off clicks. Take your shots. I probably drive more clicks than you, and you're that's enough. All right, squirrel. Click gang. You get click gang hyped up. Don't get click gang hyped up. Click gang. I can't even talk. Click gang get the click clacking and bang banging. So don't get us all hyped up. We get hyped. You call us out. Hey, we're the wrong account to subtweet. I'll tell you that right now. Hey, Sal, have a great one. Appreciate that from Mexico, bro. Appreciate that. Again, we're the wrong people to subtweet. Do not subtweet us. Do not. It's a mistake. Because again, we're different. We're different because Click Gang is here. Click Gang ain't going anywhere. You just created a gang based on a subtweet. So hey, guess what? Click Gang is here, and we ain't going nowhere. Is the best part. Oh gosh, you guys get me hyped up. Click Gang all day. You hear it. You hear it. Oh, Patrick, you're in Mexico too. We got dueling biggest fans from Mexico. Let's go. Click Gang is hyped, bro. Click Gang, we might have to come out with a shirt. We might have to do it all. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Just don't subtweet me. Just don't subtweet me. Because you're just adding fuel to the fire. And I don't need any more fuel. I do this off love and passion already. So you want to get me hyped up? We can get hyped. We can get real hyped. Subtweet me again. Click Gang to the death of me. Let's go. We see all you too. Sal versus Patrick, that's got to happen. That's got to happen. So we see the Click Gang. We see you guys out here loud and proud repping. We see you. Sean talking back about the conversation about possibly trading Jimmy. He's thinking that the 49ers would want at least a second rounder. I would say that's fair. Again, it's really hard to talk trade with a guy who just has a huge contract. That's just the hard part. That's just the hard part. Young Hitter, my guy. Good to see you. We've had an interesting day, Young Hitter. We've had an interesting day. We got subtweeted by a beat reporter, which is fine. That's fine. But just realize you subtweeted the wrong one. That's all it comes down to. So, yeah. Had a good day. So what do you guys want to talk about? I'm going to do like maybe 10 more minutes. Maybe 10 minutes. Maybe 5 minutes. Questions, concerns. We got dueling fans from Mexico on Instagram trying to prove who the biggest 49ers fan is. Is it Patrick? Is it Sal? Who knows? Who knows? We might have to have an actual duel. Let's do it. Let's do it. You are 30. Get a life. Oh, man. So tough being 30. So tough being 30. Yes, thank you. Yes. Oh, dang. Yeah, it's really hard being 30 and living out your dreams, boy. It's so hard. It's super difficult. Super difficult. But thank you for watching. Thank you for engaging the algorithm and joining us. We appreciate it. We really do. Isn't Bosa look thinner than before? Yeah, he does. He looks a little slim thick. He's looking a little slim thick. He absolutely does look thinner. Absolutely. Yo, we're 30 years old and we're doing it for the clicks, boys. We don't do it for the boys. We do it for the clicks. You know the vibes. We do it for the clicks all day. You know the vibes. Someone asked me an actual question. Are you going to any of the practices? Yeah, I'll be there on Wednesday. I'll be there on Wednesday. Oh yeah, we got so many haters. It's all good. That's the thing. That's what social media is, and they don't understand. I have built up a callus. Again, talk as much as you want. Please. We are here for it. We are here for it. We can roll with it. Like a guy just told me I'm 30 living out my dreams and I should be ashamed of myself. Shout out my guy. Shout out my guy. So that's why we just do us. Anyways, let's keep it rolling. Jimmy G, full season healthy Super Bowl champs. Could be. If we get good Jimmy, if we get good Jimmy, again, Kyle Shanahan talks about being high and low. If we get well-regulated Jimmy, then I don't think there's any reason why this team can't go super, super far. I really don't. Who is having a breakout season? I like that question. I think Aziz is having a breakout season. I think Javon Kinlaw is having a breakout season. Brandon Ayuk is probably might have the biggest breakout season out of all. Like I said, I'm projecting him to have 1,400 yards. I'm projecting Brandon Ayuk to just skyrocket. So that's fine. So let's see who else. Breakout candidate. Gallman, maybe Gallman. We'll have to see. I got to see with my own eyes before I say it. But the breakouts are going to be Kinlaw, Ayuk, which is funny because I wanted CeeDee Lamb over both of those guys. And of course, I think we can all understand CeeDee Lamb is going to have a fantastic year. Well, Dak got hurt too. Oh, I forgot about that. Dak got hurt. Ooh, I forgot. But I think those two guys are going to have a huge year, really take a step forward. I'm really excited to see what McGlinchey does this year. I'm really excited to see what he's been working on from a technical standpoint and seeing how his progression is from last year to this year. And based on all accounts, he's been attacking the hell out of it. So I'm super, super excited to see what he comes through with because, like I said, I think he's locked in. Again, we talk about the human element of football. Like, I know a lot of people, we talked about trolls just a second ago. I got a guy named Steven in here trolling me right now. But if you're not used to it, right? If you're not used to the trolls, if you're not used to the negative comments and the negative reinforcement, it can get to you. It got to me at first. I will absolutely be 100% honest with you. If I had Steven Guvagara, the trash last name, on here calling me a bitch on my lives, like that might have sent me, might have tilted me, might have, got under my skin a little bit, but he's just a troll. I gave him his love and attention. There you go, Steven. You got your name out in the bright lights. I hope you feel better about yourself. So I think with what kind of McGlinchey was working through, with the whole wave of negativity that came at him from social media, some guys just aren't used to it or have never dealt with it. Like, and if you've never dealt with it and then all of a sudden the tide turns of social media and it feels like the only responses you're getting are extremely negative, you can start to believe it. You can let that affect your energy. You can, all of that. That's why I'm big with my followers on like, we don't talk shit to our players, period. I don't care. If you want to talk shit to someone, talk shit to me. We don't talk shit to our players. So I think now Mike's transformation, he's been there. He's done that. He's lived that life. He knows what it's like to have that wave come at him. So now he's going to be able to move through this year, I really feel like, with just blinders on and just be callous to it. Because again, and understand that people are going to talk shit. They're going to hit your DM. They're going to hit your comments. They're going to tell you how trash you are. They're going to make all kinds of trash names about you. That's social media. So you just got to block it out. And after a while, it becomes easier to do that. And after a while, it just doesn't affect you as much because guess what? Trolls, there's a reason why there's a troll culture. There's a reason why there's troll culture on the internet. There's a reason why it's only going up higher. There's only more trolls coming out, and they're getting more. Again, like guys like Barry McCockner and like all these guys, they've turned trolling into an art form. They've turned trolling into an art form. And so a lot of people online, again, a lot of these trolls are people who are dealing with psychological issues. They maybe are introverts. They maybe don't express themselves the way they do on the internet, like they do on real life. And they get a pump of dopamine whenever they shoot a negative comment towards someone else by tearing them down. So you have to understand that no matter what you do in this life, you will have someone in your DM or in your comment telling you how much of a piece of shit you are. So if you're moving through your life with that mentality and that thought process, what can bother you? Nothing can. So again, you want to come in and troll, you want to subtweet, we will take it. I can take it for days, and I'll kick it back at you. So that's the thing. It's like you just got to be careful. You got to be careful. I'm calloused. I'm callous to it. So, so the hope is, with Mike, from a mentality standpoint, these trolls are going to be around. They're going to still come after his neck, and that's fine. They're going to be waiting on every single move, but you know that your job and what you're doing is bigger than anyone. That is not your family. That is not in your friend group. That isn't someone that you care about and their opinions. So that's my little rant. As someone was trolling me, don't block trolls. I disagree. I would absolutely block trolls. Nick disabled his comments on Instagram today. Oh no, don't tell me we went after Nick today. We went after Nick today? Oh, I hope not. Let me look. Trolls got to Bosa. I don't know if you guys remember when Jalen Hurd tore his ACL. You should have seen his comment section. It was so sad. It was so sad to see Jalen Hurd's comment section after he tore his ACL. It made me sick to be a Niner fan. I'm not gonna lie. It made me real sick to be a Niner fan. So I hope they're not doing that to Nick. Oh, Nick Mullins? Oh yeah. We went after Mullins. We went after Brian Allen. The amount of times I've seen people tell Brian Allen to kill himself, it's disgusting, man. But that's the life we live, and that's why, anytime I get an opportunity to speak out against it for our fan base, I will do that. Because these players don't deserve, no one deserves it, to be honest, but these players don't deserve it. They're playing for our entertainment. They're putting their body and life on the line so we can be entertained. So I think it's ridiculous that certain fans feel the need to go do that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So let's see. Let's end it there. Let's end it on the trolls. We'll end it on the trolls. Hopefully, everyone in here, hashtag Click Gang. Appreciate you guys. I know you guys aren't trolls. I know you guys who actually vibe and chill with me and all that. I know you guys aren't trolls. I appreciate that. So and you gotta not let the one or two crazy ones that get in there mess up your vibe. So again, I appreciate you guys. It's always, my goal, my duty to build up these players, build them up, support them, show them the love that they need. And that's how we operate. So I appreciate all you guys. Until then, will be today's Friday, but we'll see. Could be back tomorrow. 49ers do have practice tomorrow, from my understanding. So we'll be doing the same thing. Will be a work day for me. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Excited to see what we get out of camp tomorrow and see what other things go on here. And Sean T, thank you for liking and subscribing. Your first time being here. Apparently, we left a good impression on you. So thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you guys, as always, for commenting, interacting, doing all the good stuff. Shout out my trolls. We appreciate you too, because you guys give us more content than you even realize. So thank you. And as always, be safe, be well, and we'll be back tomorrow. All right, guys. Later. All right. Appreciate you guys. We out.